So, for those of you who don't know, Celsius is one of the biggest decentralized finance cryptocurrency companies in the world and in the US as well. And it's led by this man here, Alex Mashinsky, who is a long-time, well accomplished investor and businessman. He's been active for a few decades now. He is taking companies through funding rounds and exit rounds. And now, the last 5 years or so, he's been with Celsius as co founder, chairman, and CEO. And I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to interview him. So, for this video today, we're going to go through and I'm going to show you this exclusive interview with Alex Mashinsky, CEO of Celsius. Now, I filmed this with him last week, and this mostly discussed the market conditions in the crypto area in that sphere at the moment. So, hopefully, you enjoy. My first question for you is: are we in a bear market? Are we going to continue to see prices declining across the board? And is this possibly the start of the next crypto winter?
Yeah, so I think I've witnessed 5 drawdowns of 50% or more in crypto, and they all more or less look the same, right? You have um, some event. Usually, it's either an external event or a crypto event that creates a lot of fear in the industry, and the result of that usually is people selling their alts and running back either to Bitcoin or Ethereum, or exit. They think the party's over and they exit completely and take their fiat back to the TradFi world, right? So, and every time we've seen that, we've seen higher highs and higher lows. And so definitely there's an accumulation effect um, with people who basically don't leave the industry, and each time the wave is larger and more people are joining. So I don't think that this time is any different. And obviously we had the Luna event, which made it even worse because it was like a self-inflicted wound. But I think the future of finance is on the blockchain, and we just need to make sure that we can build in that new environment solutions and migrate. Basically, this is a fight for all the money in the world. So sooner or later, all these applications on all this financial services are going to find their way to this new infrastructure.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. Um, so those five downturns that you've spoken of, historically so far, they've quite closely correlated with Bitcoin halving cycles. Do you think that's likely to continue, or are we going to see crypto move away from that sort of Bitcoin dominance?
So, I've seen hundreds of charts and they all match this or that cycle to this or that event. And historically you can always match something to look perfect, but it not necessarily works for the future. It's not necessarily a predicting model. So I'm a little more cautious than others in saying that it's correlated to Nasdaq or it's correlated to the halving cycle or to other things. I think in general, again, what matters here is adoption and killer apps, right? So the store value for Bitcoin is a killer app, right? Running DeFi, CeFi applications on Ethereum is a killer app, right? Yield is a killer app. So those are things that I don't think are going away. And then it's just a question of adoption. So we had very rapid adoption 2021. This year is a little slower. And again, companies were spending billions of dollars in getting the word out, getting the message out. So I'm not going to see that this year. I think people are much more conservative with how they're spending their money. So you're going to have slower adoption for this year and next year. So I think again, it's all about, are we solving real problems? Are we creating a real value? And those are the things that matter long term.
So you clearly believe that decentralized finance, cryptocurrency in general, is the way we're moving. Do you still think then that we're early on, that we're early adopters, as is so often repeated amongst these investors?
Yeah. So about 7.5 billion people on the planet. Maybe 100 or 120 million of them are touching crypto in any way. And so it's definitely early days, right? Remember, there's several billion people on the planet that don't even have a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
And still many people who don't even have electricity. Forget about internet, right? So So I think all these adoption cycles start with early adopters, right? Then you have this what's called you need to cross the chasm from a technological standpoint to mass adoption, and we're just there right now. Every time we try to cross the chasm, we have either regulatory issues or technical issues or other issues, and but we eventually going to cross. When we cross and we have a reliable, sustainable business models, that's when you're going to start seeing hundreds of millions of people show up.
So you're in that sort of decentralized finance space with Celsius. Would you mind giving us just a quick rundown on who Celsius are and what you do?
Sure, yeah. So Celsius was created in 2017. We invented yield on a blockchain, right? So we were kind of the first ones over a year ahead of DeFi, kind of created this ability to go stake your coins or do other functions and basically earn real yield on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and 60 other assets. You can also take a loan against your assets. So instead of selling your Bitcoin or Ethereum, you can borrow dollars or fiat, so you can pay bills or do other things without selling the coins. And we also provide the on-ramp, so you can connect your bank account, you can swap inside the app without any fees. And we have a credit card that's going live in July, where you can basically, anything you buy in the real world, you're gonna get up to just over 3% back in crypto, right? So it goes straight to your Celsius account, and you get the benefits of hodling and of basically compounding interest.
How do you see Celsius evolving into the future as crypto becomes more and more mainstream? Do you have any exciting products in the pipeline or anything like that?
Yeah, so our slogan is "We're your home for crypto," and the idea is that, again, you should be able to unbank yourself or do all the services you need with the Celsius account, and including, again, a credit card that you can use in any store, any facility, a savings account, a loan, take a loan, earn yield, make payments, right? We have Cell Pay where you can make payments to other people with no fees. So all of these things allow you to unbank yourself and stop. Banks have done a phenomenal job for their shareholders. They've just done a very bad job for their customers. So what Celsius does is really uses all this blockchain and crypto infrastructure to give you the same thing, but here the community, and this is about 2 million people all over the world, we're all huddling together. We're all get together to earn the yield, to take cheap loans. So we're not really reliant on the government or on traditional finance to perform these functions.
So regarding regulation and in particular yield farming and things like that, how do you see regulation coming to this industry, to this sector regarding stablecoin yielding in particular? Is the SEC looking to categorize it as a security? Is it going in that direction, or will we see something completely new?
Also, again, yield is still a new thing in crypto, right? So different yield, like if you get yield from staking ETH, I think if you look at for example, it's very different than if you're getting paid from other type of activities, right? So I think the new laws that are being proposed by many of the lawmakers do carve out staking as basically not equivalent to derivative activity or you selling the asset or anything like that. So I think it will be excluded until you actually take that staked ETH and take the rewards and convert them into dollars or convert them to something else. It's not even a taxable event, right? So I think worldwide we're going to see countries that treat Bitcoin or crypto well, like Portugal and Ukraine and others, are going to attract talent and attract projects, and countries that like China and others who treat crypto very badly are going to basically lose both capital and talent. So over time we will see the world kind of divide into countries that believe in crypto as the future and countries that are afraid of crypto and are trying to control it or get rid of it.
Okay, so on that topic of attracting talent, of allowing a new industry to flourish, Do you think the United States is going to be on the good side of that, or maybe the other end? I mean, they've done incredibly well with the tech industry. They've dominated everything. Are they going to be in that same situation regarding crypto?
Yeah, so I'm old enough to have been there in Web 1 and Web 2, and now we obviously are building Web 3 here in the United States. And in Web 1, the Congress has passed a law in 1996 of basically making sure that the internet does have a fair chance. And obviously the United States have built some of the best companies, the largest companies in the tech world, including, again, Web 1. It was mostly like Cisco and Microsoft and Intel and people like that. And Web 2, it's more like people like Google and Facebook and so on. So I think, Churchill said better than anyone, said that the United States always does the right thing, but only after it exhausted all other possibilities. So I guess we're in the process of exhausting all other possibilities when it comes to crypto, but we the people will do the right thing and make sure that the right laws are passed and that we build the future of finance on Web3 here in the United States of America.
So then back to Luna and UST and that whole debacle. Obviously, it's impacted the market very directly. Do you think it's impacted stable coins and yield farming in particular? And will it have long-standing, effects to how this industry works?
So I think the Luna collapse, Luna UST collapse, stunned the DeFi community. Like a lot of people thought they were rich or it was so easy to make money, realized that they can lose everything very quickly. And a lot of people also realize that just because somebody calls themselves a stablecoin doesn't mean they are a stablecoin. So stablecoin come in three different categories. One is a fully backed one, like USDC or Paxos or others. And then you have ones that are over collateralized. So DAI and USDT or Tether are the over collateralized one. And then you have synthetic ones, right? Which are the very, very different categories. So people really have to do their homework and understand that just because a pool has four different stable things that are calling themselves stablecoin doesn't mean they're all stablecoins. So I think we're learning a hard lesson. Now the regulators are coming in and making sure that laws are passed so no one can really take advantage of people who don't do their homework. And again, Celsius, we were not involved in Luna. We did not lend to them. We were not holders of UST on our balance sheet or anything like that. So we are obviously this event hurt the entire industry, and it was going to slow down innovation and capital formation. But we're going to get through it. We're going to learn the lessons and go and build the future of finance.
Okay, great. So you specifically made a point of differentiating between soft pegs and hard pegs. Algorithmic stablecoins being soft pegs that aren't physically backed necessarily by fiat currency. Do you think that algorithmic stablecoins have had their time in the sun and we're just going to return to stablecoins that are backed by fiat currency?
Look, we've been experimenting with that now for several years, and every experiment there failed. I don't think there's been one good experiment. But just to remind everybody, there are over 700 fiat currencies, and every one of them over time has failed. There has not been one fiat currency that did not fail over time. So if we're comparing it to fiat, like if you just take a snapshot, you can say, okay, right now, fiat is doing better than Luna. But if you look at the last, 100 years, and you say, okay, how is fiat performing compared to Luna? It's actually doing just like Luna. It's failing across the board. So I think we do need to continue experimenting. It's not like we have to just say, okay, well, we're done. We're all going back to fiat, right? So the entire financial system worldwide has gone off the gold standard. The gold standard used to be something that prevented us from creating just endless amount of money. And I think the world economies realize, okay, it's blocking us, this pegged to the gold, to physical gold is blocking us. Let's get off the gold standard, right? Then allow for this unlimited money creation. It's really just a synthetic fiat. What money printing is a synthetic fiat. It's the same thing, right? So I don't see a lot of difference between the two systems, and neither one of them works. So we need to find something that works for the people, not for the 1%, but for 100% of the people. And that's really the challenge and the opportunity with cryptocurrencies. Like, you can see how Bitcoin, with limited supply of 21 million, is behaving very differently. It becomes very quickly effectively the reserve currency, the hard money, because of its scarcity, because no government or any individual can just go in and print 10 times more, 2 times more, whatever. So, so let's see where it goes. I mean, I think we're at the beginning of the experiment. Fiat depegged from the gold standard in 1971, I think. So it's about whatever, a 45-year experiment, and Bitcoin is a 13-year-old experiment. So you have a 45-year-old telling the 13-year-old, "Hey, get out of here. You're not allowed to be in this race. Look at me. I've been here for a very long time. You should learn from me." And that's really, I think the teenager here has a lot more grit and stamina than the 45-year-old.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that idea there, that governments have a tendency to try and squeeze as much money out of their populaces as possible. And the idea of reducing the value of a dollar or whatever other currency it may be goes back to ancient Roman times, back when they would just literally put in alloys into their coins to reduce the amount of gold so they could print more money, and they devalued that currency. And it's one of the reasons the Roman Empire fell. So I do definitely think that, cryptocurrency has a one major problem to solve. It's probably that. And yeah, well, Bitcoin is the first step on that path. So finally, regarding Tether, what do you think happens to the crypto industry as a whole if these rumors about maybe Chinese commercial papers, about dodgy dealings and fraud, and maybe Tether not being fully backed, what happens to the industry if that turns out to be true and we see a bank run on Tether?
Well, look, the Tether has assets that are not really linked to crypto, right? So the problem Luna had is that it was backed by the same type of asset. So when crypto alts went down 80%, Luna also went down 80 or 90%. So I don't think Tether has this problem, and Tether had, I don't know, like, I think the high was 86 billion and it went down to like 73 or something. So has had about 13 billion of redemptions, right? So when you look at the balance on CoinMarketCap or whatever, it tells you how much in redemptions there were. And I've not seen anyone who complained or who said, "Oh, I went to Tether with my USDT and I only got 95 cents on the dollar." Everybody who went to Tether to redeem got their dollars, got them quickly, and they got 100 cents on the dollar. The fact that Tether was trading on Binance for 2 seconds at 95 cents does not mean that Tether depegged. It just means that a buyer and a seller on Binance agreed to do a transaction at less than $1. So it's very important for people to understand that you hear there's rumors and people are spreading rumors about things they don't know anything about, and they only do that so they can have more followers on Twitter. Okay, they don't do it because they're trying to educate you or they're trying to help you. So we've seen billions of dollars leave crypto because they got scared and they all redeemed their Tether or USDC or some other stable coin, and all that does is hurts the crypto community, right? Because now there's less dollars in circulation inside of DeFi and CeFi and stable coins. There's less capital, there's less opportunities, there's less people participating. And who benefits from that? TradFi. So So no one in DeFi or CeFi benefits from that. So I think the people who are spreading these and other rumors because they're Bitcoin maxis or because they don't like the Tether guys or whatever are just really hurting the mass adoption that I was talking about before, right? And we all have to understand that if we unite together, we grow together, we all benefit together. And if we throw stones at each other in a glass house, the roof is going to coming down on all of us, not just on the ones who was throwing the stone or being thrown at. So I think we all need to um, be much more diligent at helping each other instead of trying to hurt somebody just because you don't believe in their business model or you think that they are doing something that you disagree with and so on. The whole point about crypto is to have this constant experimentation and have the best ideas rise to the top and get rid of the bad actors so we can deliver or build something for again, that 7.5 billion people who are not going to be served well, neither by fiat currencies or by banks.
Yeah, that's it from me. Anything you'd like to say just to finish off?
No, I can say again, going back to the crypto winter, it's always darkest before the light, right? The morning light, and I'm looking at the fear greed index, and it's it was as low as 8. I haven't seen that at 8 ever. So this is definitely the harshest crypto winter we've seen, and people have to understand that it's like a spring. The more you compress the spring, the higher it flies back up. And what we're seeing here is a lot of FUD, a lot of fear of everybody everybody who can leaning on the crypto community to try to really take us out, right? Because they don't believe that we should be competing with these amazing franchises. They're just printing money like crazy. And traditional finance, when they make a mistake, the Fed jumps in and bails them out. In crypto, no one comes to bail you out. You either prove that you can go through every winter without a problem, or somebody else comes and replaces you. So I think it's important for people to understand that you vote with your wallet, you vote with your with every transaction that you make for the projects you believe in. So if you believe that, for example, Celsius is here to help the community, is here to do good, and we paid, for example, over 5,200 Bitcoins to our users since we were created. We paid 83,000 ETH. This is just the interest, the yield we paid to our community. We paid over $101 million in stable coins as yield, as interest to our community. So those are the things that you're never going to get from your bank. You're never going to get that from traditional finance. Hundreds of millions of dollars a yield. And that's why, companies like Celsius are building the future of finance. But if you decide that you're afraid, or you decide that you're going back to TradFi, you're voting for the banks. You're voting for the people who charge you fees, who charge your parents and grandparents fees. And you're basically preventing your children and grandchildren from having a better future. So that's my message to the people who are teetering or not sure about where we are and what they should do next.
Okay, great. So it's darkest before the dawn, but there's a ray of sunshine and it's coming, and it's going to be led by decentralized finance and a change in the way that banking around the world works.
That's right.
Brilliant. Thank you, Alex.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to bless the YouTube algorithm. It really does help. If you want to join our exclusive community, then check out our Patreon. You get access to our Discord server and extra content like access to my portfolio and buy and sell alerts for all my own investments. Also, make sure to check out the link in the description to Masterworks. It can help you protect your portfolio against market turmoil through fractional shares of art from world-famous artists. Art has historically proven to be uncorrelated to the markets, so it's a really valuable resource with the markets falling every week. There's also a link in the description to iTrust Capital, which helps you to invest in crypto through your tax-advantaged IRA, which could literally save you thousands. If you, like me, think crypto going down is a buy-in opportunity, then now is the perfect time to join iTrust Capital. Thank you all for watching. Stay stoic. Until next time.